Hello, friends, and welcome to Sleep Tight Stories. Every week, we celebrate our supporters through shout-outs and personal birthday messages. We think this is also a fun way for us to hear about all the amazing places that you, our listeners, come from. Hello to Elise Gilbert. Mommy and Daddy love you and said you make them more and more proud every day. Happy belated 8th birthday to Tennessee in Post Falls, Idaho. Mommy, Char Char, Chippy, and Iggy love you so much. You are their favorite girl. Happy belated birthday to Adam from Winona, New Jersey, who turned 9 on October 2nd. Mom, Dad, and Ed love you so much. You bring them so much laughter and joy. And happy belated 9th birthday to Henry from Houston, Texas on October 4th. Happy birthday to Emilio from Needham, Massachusetts, who is turning 5 on October 7th. Mom, Dad, and Andre wish you the very best. Happy 6th birthday to Preston. Mommy, Daddy, and Priya think you are so amazing and brave and love you to the moon and back. Happy birthday to Harper from San Francisco, California, who is turning 5 on October 8th. From Mom, Dad, and Felix, they all love you and your silliness. Happy 8th birthday to Brendan. Love Mom and Dad. They love you so much and are so proud of not only who you are now, but who you are continuing to become. They are so lucky to have you in their lives. Happy birthday to Penelope Jane. All our love always from Mama, Papa, Stella, and Lana. Wishing you a wonderful golden birthday. Happy birthday to Melody Chin from Singapore. Lots of love from Mommy, Daddy, and Alistair. They hope you have a wonderful birthday. Happy birthday to our favorite superhero, Paul. Love Mommy, Daddy, Emmy, Zoe, and Cannoli. We know 5 is going to be your best year yet. Happy 8th birthday to Wyatt. Love Dad, Mom, and Molly. You are their shining star. Happy birthday to Penny from Gaston, Indiana, who is 7. Mommy, Daddy, and Audrey are so proud of you and love you very much. Happy birthday to Cora from Glasgow, who is turning 6. Mommy, Daddy, Ben, Nona, and Nugget the dog love you and are so proud of the funny, kind, and brave girl you are growing into. Happy birthday to you all. To reserve your special shout-out, please visit sleeptightstories.org/support. We can't wait to celebrate with you. Now, on to our story. Thank you, Camilla, for the story idea. It is getting colder outside, and indoor practices have started. Bernice gets home from hockey and wants to surprise Papa Bear, but Cookie breaks her concentration. After talking to Papa and having some hot cocoa, Bernice gets ready to go to Gertrude's house for tea. When she arrives, they chat, eat, and spend a great afternoon together. Bernice has tea with Gertrude. Bernice closed the front door as quietly as she could, dropped her big gym bag, and sat down to take off her sneakers. She was trying to be super quiet, which was tough because she felt both giggly and frozen solid. She had just come home from her second ever hockey practice and was focused on practicing her spooky surprises. Halloween was coming, and she was determined to be spooky this year. She could hear Papa Bear humming in the kitchen, and the house smelled like the yummiest cookies ever. "This isn't fair," she thought as she tiptoed toward the kitchen. "With this smell, my stomach will start growling, and sometimes it's so loud it scares Cookie away." She took a few more silent steps. Then a few more. "Papa Bear must not know I'm here," she thought. But someone did. Cookie came trotting around the corner just as Bernice was about to spring her surprise. Bernice quickly put a finger to her lips and whispered, "Shh." Then she took 2 final steps and jumped into the kitchen, yelling, "Ooh, I am a scary monster." Papa Bear pretended to be scared and jumped. "Wow, who is this terrifying monster walking like a mini Frankenstein? Too spooky," he said with a smile. Bernice sighed. "All right, I know I didn't scare you. It's Cookie's fault. She broke my concentration." Cookie, her cat, simply walked to where the sun shone on the floor and sat, pretending she didn't understand what they were saying. "It's okay, little bear. I was a teeny bit scared, and you were really quiet," Papa said warmly. "I'll be spookier next time when I'm not frozen solid. It's too early in the year to be this cold, Papa. I was freezing at hockey practice. I could barely move, and now I just feel numb." "Well, that sounds pretty chilly. I better pour you some hot cocoa before you turn into an ice sculpture," Papa Bear chuckled. "How was hockey practice?" Bernice sat down at the kitchen table and blew on her fingers to warm them up. "It was okay, Papa. I only fell down 10 times, which is better than last time. This big boy checked me once, even though we weren't supposed to do that yet. I think he's a bit too enthusiastic." We mostly did drills and played some games. It was fun, but I think I like swimming, running, and basketball more. Bobby stopped by to say hello, but he left because he doesn't like the cold. Yeah, his mom mentioned he's not interested in hockey this year. He's thinking of doing some other indoor sport this winter, but he hasn't decided yet. Yeah, he might be busy building robots and stuff. So, Papa, those cookies smell pretty yummy delicious. Are we going to have some?" Bernice said, grinning. "They do smell yummy, don't they?" Papa Bear said with a twinkle in his eye. "But I made these for you to take to Gertrude's house today. You might want to save them so there are enough for you, Gertrude, and maybe her family too." "Okay, Papa. I'm feeling warmer now after the cocoa anyway. I'll go get changed into my tea party clothes so I'm ready when Mama gets back. She said she'd be here soon to take me. She's at the grocery store getting snacks for you two." Bernice paused, giving Papa a pretend pout. "It's not fair that you get to watch a movie without me." Papa Bear smiled. "Your Mama and I could use a little time to relax. We've been busy lately. We'll watch a movie together another time. Don't worry." "Yeah, you and Mama do work a lot. Rest is good, right?" Bernice called over her shoulder as she ran up the stairs to her room. She had already picked out her favorite jeans, the one with dinosaurs and flowers she'd painted during art class. She threw on her favorite hoodie, too. Bernice mostly wore hoodies these days. She liked to be comfortable and express herself. "Bernice, Mama's here waiting for you," Papa Bear called from downstairs. "Coming, Papa," Bernice yelled as she hurried down the stairs. Here are the cookies, little bear. Make sure to say hello to Gertrude for me, and don't forget your please and thank yous." "Of course, Papa. I'm super polite, and Gertrude's one of my bestest friends," Bernice called back as she ran down the walkway to Mama's car. Gertrude didn't live far from Bernice, and in the summer, Bernice could ride her bike to visit most of her friends. Ethan was the closest when he stayed at his grandmother's after school. Bobby lived the furthest away, but they often worked on homework together and chatted on their pads. That was about the only time Bernice was allowed screen time. After about 10 minutes in the car, Bernice arrived at Gertrude's house, which was decorated with pumpkins and yellow flowers. Bernice thought it looked pretty. "Bye, Mama," Bernice said, waving as she walked up the path from the driveway to Gertrude's front door. Gertrude's mother was waiting by the door and waved goodbye to Bernice's mama. "Come in, Bernice. Gertrude is waiting for you in the kitchen. I've set out some treats for you, and I'll be in the den reading if you need anything." "Thank you, Gertrude's mom," Bernice said quietly. After taking off her sneakers, Bernice ran into the kitchen, where Gertrude was setting cups on the table. The room was warm and smelled faintly of cinnamon from the candles Gertrude's mom had lit. A small teapot with steam rising from its spout sat in the center of the table, and a plate of homemade biscuits was neatly arranged beside it. "Hi, Bernice. Are those your papa's cookies? They'll go perfect with our tea. Of course, my mom wouldn't let me make the tea she drinks, but it's still good. It's yellow tea, and I have blueberry tea too if you like," Gertrude said. "It smells super good, Gerd," Bernice replied, eyeing the tea set. The cups were small, painted with little flowers, and the steam from the pot made the room feel even cozier. The girls had nicknames for each other, but not the boys. Bernice didn't know why, but it seemed to be an unspoken rule. "If we get tired of tea, I can show you our apple tree in the backyard. There are still some apples on it, but my dad says they sometimes have worms, which I think is super yucky." "I bet Bobby would eat them even if they had 100 worms in them," Bernice said with a laugh. Gertrude giggled. "Yeah, Bobby would eat anything. Except carrots," Bernice added, laughing. "Do you remember that time in class when he ate a bunch of carrots and then made a stink? The teacher was so mad at him, and he got in trouble," Gertrude said, laughing. "Here, let me pour you some tea and try one of my mom's sweet biscuits. They're really yummy." "Did you have hockey this morning?" Gertrude asked as she took a careful sip of her warm tea, steam curling up from the cup. "Yeah, and it was okay," Bernice replied, swirling her tea. "But some of the boys are too rough, and I'm not ready to be rough back. I'm not as good a skater as this boy named Jordan. He's not in any of my classes, I think, but he's one of the rougher ones on the team. The coach is always upset with him." Gertrude wrinkled her nose as she put her cup down. "I don't know him either. I don't think I'm cut out for sports, especially hockey, though my dad wanted me to try. I think I'll stick with books and painting and stuff this winter. Maybe I'll do indoor soccer if you and Bobby are going." "I think Bobby will be there for sure. It's hard to choose since I'm already doing swimming, running, and basketball," Bernice said, breaking off a piece of her biscuit, the buttery crumbs falling onto her napkin. "But Bobby had a good idea. He says the more sports he plays, the more treats he gets. And he's mostly into science and stuff like that," Gertrude laughed. "That's a good point. Maybe I will join soccer then." "What did you do today? Did you paint another masterpiece?" Bernice asked, stuffing the rest of the biscuit into her mouth. She now had crumbs all over her lips and chin, which made Gertrude laugh. "You're the only one who paints masterpieces," Gertrude said with a smile. "I read a new book today, and it's so good." "What's it about?" Bernice asked, taking another sip of tea. "It's called The Adventures of Sophie Mouse. Have you heard of it?" Gertrude asked. "It's a bit easy for us now, but I read like 4 of them this morning." Bernice shook her head. "Nope. What's it about?" "Well, it's about this little mouse named Sophie who lives in the Silver Lake Forest. She's really kind and loves to draw. Kind of like you," Gertrude said, grinning. "In the first book, Sophie meets a new friend, a snake named Owen. At first, all the other animals are scared of Owen because, you know, snakes usually eat mice and stuff. But Sophie doesn't judge him right away and wants to give him a chance." "That sounds really nice," Bernice said, taking another drink of tea. "So what happens next?" "Well, Sophie invites Owen to play with her friends. They're all a little bit nervous at first, but then Owen shows them that he's actually super friendly and fun to hang out with. He even helps them when they get stuck in a tricky situation. In the end, they all become good friends, and everyone in the forest accepts Owen." "I like that. It sounds like a fun read," Bernice said, munching on another biscuit. "Yeah," Gertrude nodded. "The book has cute drawings, too. I think you might like it." "I'll have to ask my mom if we can get it from the library," Bernice said. "I can lend you the series if you want," Gertrude offered. "I know you're a super reader, so you'll finish it really fast. I kind of prefer these stories to all the science books you and Bobby usually read." "If I could borrow them, that would be cool. I think I need a break from reading science stuff. My imagination might shrink if I keep reading it all the time," Bernice said with a grin. Gertrude laughed. "I don't think that'll happen. Your imagination is way too big for that." "Want more tea? We can try a different flavor if you'd like." "Sure. I think this flavor is great, and I love your mom's sweet biscuits," Bernice said, finally wiping the crumbs from her mouth. As she poured more tea, Gertrude hesitated before speaking. "You know, I've been meaning to say something. I feel bad about that time when I wasn't so nice, hanging out with those other girls. It's nice to make new friends, but she wasn't very kind to Bobby, and I just went along with it." Bernice smiled. "It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll all be friends forever," she said, grabbing one of her Papa's cookies before they disappeared. Whenever she brought Papa's cookies to share, they always seemed to vanish before she got any herself. After they finished their tea, Gertrude suggested, "We can go up to my room and I'll show you my books, and I have a couple of games we can play. Unless you'd rather pick some wormy apples from the backyard," she added with a laugh. Bernice giggled. "I don't mind worms too much, but I think seeing your book collection sounds more fun." The rest of the afternoon was spent flipping through books, playing games, eating mini sandwiches, and talking about all the kids at school. They both agreed they weren't too happy about the pile of English homework their super strict teacher always assigned. On the way home, Bernice couldn't stop thinking about how much fun she'd had and how much she liked hanging out with Gertrude. She smiled, clutching the borrowed books, excited to read some new stories. Later that evening, after going through her bedtime routine, Bernice arranged her friends, Twiggle, Wolfie, and Madeline, and got into bed. "It's that time, Papa," Bernice called out. "And what time is that, little bear?" Papa Bear replied from downstairs. "It's time for the yawning Olympics," Bernice said with a great big yawn. Walking into her bedroom, Papa Bear said, "Are those the books on your nightstand that you borrowed from Gertrude?" "Yeah, I read them already. They are really nice stories." "Maybe I should read more stories," Bernice said with a yawn. "You can if you like. Reading is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself," Papa Bear said. "Is the other freshly baked cookies?" Bernice asked with a laugh. Papa Bear laughed. "Having treats is also a great gift. Sharing treats with a friend is even better." "Yeah, I had fun with Gertrude today. We talked about everything and had all kinds of treats and stuff. She's different than Bobby, and I like that." "I'm happy you had fun. Did you do all the things you need to do before bed?" "I did. I brushed my teeth for a long time in case there were stubborn cookie crumbs hiding somewhere. Then I read the books again, and after I put on my pajamas, I didn't do any deep breaths and stuff. I think I might stretch tomorrow or something because hockey seems to make muscles sore that I didn't know I had," Bernice said. "Yes, hockey works different muscles than running and swimming," Papa Bear said with a smile. "Yeah, I think so," Bernice replied, letting out another yawn. "Are you comfy?" Papa Bear asked. "Yes, Papa." "How about Twiggle, Wolfie, and Madeline? Are they comfy?" "They're all comfy." "And Cookie looks comfy too," Bernice added, glancing at her best friend at the foot of her bed. "Give me a hug and a kiss and you can listen to a story." "Love you, Papa." "I love you too, little bear." And that is the end of our story. Good night. Sleep tight.